The woman at the center of the infamous nanny scandal is back in the spotlight. And this time the controversy isn't about health rules or hypocrisy. It's about money. A staggering amount of it. Cody and Robyn Brown have just quietly taken on $750,000 in new debt, and it exposes far more than a financial decision. It exposes who has really been paying for their lifestyle all along. Yes, you heard that right. After years of lecturing the world about sacrifice, safety, and responsibility, Cody and Robyn have secured a massive home equity line of credit on their new Arizona mansion. The same couple who claimed strict COVID rules justified cutting off their own children. The same couple who isolated other wives while allowing outside help into their home. The same couple who lived in comfort while others struggled to survive. Now they've turned their house into an ATM. And here's what makes this infuriating. This financial move comes from the very people who paid off Coyote Pass using money that didn't fully belong to them. Money tied to Yanel. Money tied to Mary. While one wife lived in an RV with no running water, Cody and Robyn were planning their next upgrade. Let's be very clear. This isn't speculation. This isn't exaggeration. In late 2024, Cody and Robyn purchased a massive Flagstaff home valued at over $2 million. Nearly 8,000 square feet. 6 bedrooms. 7 bathrooms. A guest house. An RV garage. Space for 7 cars. Mountain views. Acres of land. The kind of property most families never come close to owning. They put down a large down payment and took out a mortgage well over $1.5 million. And before the paint was even dry, before they had lived there a full year, they borrowed another $750,000 against the same house. That's not normal. That's not conservative. That's not smart planning. That's desperation mixed with entitlement. A home equity line of credit isn't free money. It's debt secured by your home. And when people tap into equity that quickly, it usually means one of two things. Either they're already stretched thin, or they've convinced themselves the money will never stop coming. Given Cody and Robyn's history, it's probably both. To understand why this matters, you have to remember how we got here. You have to go back to the moment fans realized the rules never applied equally in this family. During the pandemic, Cody Brown became obsessed with control. He laid out strict requirements that governed every household. No socializing. No school. No work. No contact. Follow the rules or lose access to him. His sons were told to choose between their lives and their father. Yanel was pressured to kick her own children out. Christine was left isolated, watching her marriage dissolve while Cody lived full-time with Robyn. And then the truth slipped out. Robyn had a nanny. Not occasional help. Not an emergency situation. A full-time nanny and her husband coming and going freely. The one household with outside access was the one household that already had Cody full-time. When Christine asked, "What does the nanny do?" it wasn't curiosity. It was disbelief. Robyn didn't work outside the home. Cody was there every day. Her oldest children were grown. Yet somehow, she was the only one who deserved help. And then came the irony no one could ignore. The nanny tested positive. The virus entered the family through the one exception Cody made. The sons he had cut off got sick. The wives he had isolated were proven right. The entire structure of his justification collapsed. That moment wasn't just about COVID. It was about favoritism. And that same favoritism shows up again and again when you follow the money. When Robyn entered the family, she brought tens of thousands of dollars in credit card debt. That debt didn't disappear by magic. It was absorbed by the family, by women who worked, by women who contributed, by women who believed in a shared future. Her credit problems delayed home purchases. Family money fixed them. When homes were bought in Las Vegas, resources were rearranged to accommodate her. When Flagstaff happened, Yanel sold her home and gave up proceeds so Robyn could move forward. And while Yanel lived in an RV on undeveloped land, dreaming of a home that never came, Cody and Robyn lived comfortably in a large house with every modern convenience. When Coyote Pass finally sold years later, the distribution told the real story. Cody and Robyn walked away with half. Yanel and Mary split the rest. Christine had already signed hers away just to be free. That money didn't sit untouched. It flowed directly into the lifestyle we're seeing now. a new mansion, a massive down payment, and then more debt stacked on top. And when Yanel revealed that Cody and Robyn tried to force NDAs before releasing money, it exposed something darker. Silence was the goal. Control was the goal. You can have what's yours, but only if you never talk about how we treated you. That isn't family. That's coercion. So what exactly are Cody and Robyn funding with all this money? Look at their reality. Most of the adult children are gone or leaving soon. Within a few years, that enormous house will hold 4 people. Space that exists purely for image, for ego, for appearances. Meanwhile, their income isn't limitless. Their expenses are enormous. Mortgage, interest, taxes, maintenance, lifestyle spending, and a growing history of borrowing against future stability. This isn't building wealth. This is burning through it. And while this is happening, look at the contrast. Yanel is building a modest life, starting a business, living within her means. Christine found happiness and stability. Mary built something of her own from the ground up. They learned the hard way that loyalty didn't protect them. Contribution didn't protect them. Sacrifice didn't protect them. Robyn, on the other hand, stayed. And now she's learning the same lesson from the other side. Debt always comes due. Shows end. Credit lines close. And when there's no one left to subsidize the fantasy, reality arrives fast. The nanny scandal was ironic. This is different. This is the end result of years of favoritism, manipulation, and reckless decisions. A beautiful house sitting on a mountain of debt. A lifestyle built on other people's labor. And no safety net left. Because math doesn't care about excuses. And eventually, even monuments collapse. Everyone thought the nanny scandal was the most embarrassing thing Cody and Robyn Brown would ever face. Turns out, that was just the warm-up. Because now the truth isn't about COVID rules or broken promises, it's about money. And not a small amount. We're talking about a jaw-dropping financial move that exposes exactly how deep this mess really goes. Cody and Robyn have quietly taken on $750,000 in new debt. Not for survival. Not for emergencies. But layered directly on top of a luxury mansion that already costs more than most families will earn in a lifetime. And the timing couldn't be worse, or more revealing. This is the same couple who spent years preaching sacrifice while demanding obedience. The same couple who justified cutting off children in the name of safety. The same couple who claimed there was never enough money, unless it was for them. And now, before they've even settled into their new home, they've turned it into collateral for another massive cash grab. Let that sink in. A home equity line of credit means one thing: borrowing against the future. It's not a sign of confidence. It's a sign that either the money is already gone, or they're convinced it will never stop flowing. And if you've followed this family long enough, you know exactly which one it is. Because this isn't new behavior. This is a pattern. Back in late 2024, Cody and Robyn upgraded their lifestyle yet again, purchasing an enormous Flagstaff property worth over $2 million. Acres of land, a guest house, an RV garage, more bathrooms than people who actually live there. It's the kind of home that screams success, even if the numbers behind it are screaming panic. They put down a hefty down payment and locked themselves into a massive mortgage. And instead of slowing down, instead of stabilizing, they doubled down. Within months, they borrowed another $750,000 against the same property. Normal homeowners don't do this. People who are financially secure don't do this. This is what happens when spending comes first and consequences are pushed into the future. And here's where the hypocrisy becomes impossible to ignore. This financial extravagance is being built on the same foundation that forced Yanel into an RV. The same foundation that left Mary fighting just to receive her share. The same foundation where Christine had to walk away for $10 just to escape the chaos. While one wife lived without basic comforts, Cody and Robyn planned upgrades. While others tightened their belts, these two expanded their footprint. And now, as the money runs thin again, they're borrowing more, secured by a house they barely had time to call home. But to really understand how we got here, you have to go back to the moment everything cracked. The moment fans realized the rules were never about safety, they were about control. And that brings us right back to the nanny. The nanny wasn't just help. She was proof. Proof that the rules Kody enforced were never about protection, they were about power. While the rest of the family lived under restrictions so strict they broke relationships, Robyn's house operated under a completely different reality. During the pandemic, Kody laid down non-negotiable demands. Adult sons were told to choose between their lives and their father. Wives were isolated. Visits were withheld as punishment. For months, entire households existed without him, believing sacrifice was necessary for the greater good. And then the truth slipped out. Robyn had a nanny. Not a neighbor dropping by. Not emergency help. A consistent outsider entering her home regularly. The one household with full access to Kody was also the one allowed to break every rule he imposed on everyone else. When Christine questioned it, her disbelief echoed what viewers were already thinking. Robyn didn't work outside the home. Kody was there full-time. Her older children were grown. Yet somehow, she was the only wife deemed deserving of extra help. The unfairness was staggering. Yanel's sons were pushed out for going to school and having jobs. Christine was left emotionally abandoned. Mary was forgotten entirely. Meanwhile, Robyn's household functioned with hired assistants, uninterrupted attention, and full access to Kody. And then came the moment that shattered every excuse. The virus entered the family through the nanny. The very thing Kody claimed he was preventing happened because of the one exception he made. The sons he cut off got sick. The wives he dismissed were proven right. The strict protocols didn't fail, they were never real to begin with. That's when fans realized Nannygate wasn't about health hypocrisy. It was about favoritism in its purest form. One wife received protection, comfort, and resources. The others received ultimatums and silence. And that same imbalance didn't stop with emotional neglect. It followed the money. Robyn entered the family already struggling financially. Her debts didn't disappear, they were absorbed, fixed, handled. Family funds were redirected so she could qualify for homes, move forward, and live comfortably. While others worked, she stayed home. While others sacrificed, she accumulated. While others were told there wasn't enough to go around, somehow there was always enough for her. Fast forward to today, and the pattern hasn't changed. The nanny scandal showed who the rules applied to. The new debt shows who the money is for. Because when you see Kody and Robyn borrowing hundreds of thousands against a luxury property, you're not seeing success. You're seeing the final phase of a system that always favored one household, until there was no one left to exploit. And now, the same women who funded that lifestyle are gone. But before the money ran out, Kody and Robyn made one last move to protect themselves. One move that revealed just how much they had to hide. That's where the NDAs come in. When the money finally had to be divided, Kody and Robyn didn't just want their share. They wanted silence, control, protection from the truth. And that's when the NDA bomb dropped. Before agreeing to release the proceeds from Coyote Pass, Kody and Robyn demanded legal documents that would gag Yanel and Mary. Not suggestions. Not requests. Formal non-disclosure agreements. The message was crystal clear. You can have your money, but only if you promise never to talk about how we handled it. Think about how alarming that is. People don't ask for NDAs unless there's something they're afraid of being exposed. A simple land sale doesn't require secrecy, unless the process was unfair, manipulative, or designed to benefit one side at the expense of everyone else. Yanel and Mary refused. And that refusal tells you everything about who still had integrity left. Eventually, the sale went through without the gag orders. But by then, the damage was done. The numbers spoke louder than any argument ever could. Half the proceeds went straight to Kody and Robyn. The rest was split. Christine had already walked away just to be free. That money didn't sit untouched. It became the fuel for a brand new lifestyle. Within months, Kody and Robyn were upgrading again. A mansion that dwarfed anything the family had ever lived in before. More rooms than occupants. More luxury than necessity. And just when you'd think they would finally slow down, they borrowed more. That's the part people keep missing. The new debt didn't come after years of stability. It came almost immediately, which means the cash from the land sale and the house flip wasn't enough. Not for the way they live. This is where the picture becomes impossible to defend. They sold a previous home for a massive profit. They received hundreds of thousands from shared family land. They put down a large payment on a new house. And still, they needed another $750,000 just to keep going. That's not wealth. That's overspending on a dangerous scale. Meanwhile, look at where everyone else landed. Yanelle walked away with far less than she put in over the years. No house in her name. No safety net. Just land she bought herself and a business she's building from scratch. Christine rebuilt her life without excess. Mary works constantly to support herself and protect what's hers. They downsized emotionally and financially. Cody and Robyn did the opposite. And here's the most telling part of all. During the tell-all, Cody didn't deny that Robyn has influence over every major decision. He admitted it. Years of speculation suddenly confirmed in one sentence. He isn't leading. He's following. Which means the nanny wasn't an accident. The isolation wasn't a misunderstanding. The NDAs weren't Cody acting alone. The mansion wasn't just a shared dream. And the massive new line of credit wasn't desperation. It was entitlement backed by habit. Robyn wasn't dragged along for this ride. She helped steer it. And now, with no wives left to subsidize the lifestyle, no shared family pot to tap into, and debt piling higher by the month, the consequences are no longer hypothetical. Because when the credit runs out, when the show ends, when the payments come due, there's nowhere left to hide. And in the next part, we're going to walk straight through that mansion, room by room, and expose just how extreme this excess really is, and why it makes this financial gamble even more dangerous. Take a moment and picture the house they're fighting so hard to hold on to. Not a home built for family. A statement built for ego. This isn't just a big house. It's an overwhelming one. Thousands upon thousands of square feet spread across acres of land. Multiple fireplaces glowing at the push of a button. A primary bedroom designed like a luxury resort. A kitchen so oversized it has duplicate everything. Ovens, islands, dishwashers. As if excess itself was the goal. And then there's the guest house. A whole second living space with bedrooms, entertainment areas, and room no one actually needs. Add in the detached RV garage large enough for several vehicles, and suddenly it becomes clear, this wasn't about practicality. This was about image. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of the people this house was supposedly built for won't even be there. The adult children are already on their way out. Within a few years, this massive property will be occupied by 2 adults and 2 kids. That's it. Square footage doesn't equal stability. It equals cost. And the cost of maintaining something this large is relentless. Mortgage payments, interest on the line of credit, property taxes, insurance, repairs, utilities, landscaping, everything compounds. And yet, instead of building equity slowly, instead of allowing the home to become a foundation, Cody and Robyn loaded it with debt almost immediately. They didn't give themselves breathing room. They gave themselves pressure. This is where the illusion of success cracks. Because people who are financially secure don't borrow against their home this aggressively. They don't stack obligations until the numbers stop making sense. They don't rely on future income that isn't guaranteed. And here's what makes this even harder to stomach. While this mansion was being planned, one wife had no house at all. Yanelle lived in an RV on raw land with no infrastructure. No running water. No certainty. Just promises that never materialized. Promises that always seemed to benefit someone else. Christine had already escaped. Mary was fighting to protect what little she had left. And instead of reflecting, instead of course-correcting, Cody and Robyn expanded. This house isn't a reward. It's a liability disguised as success. And the debt attached to it tells a story they don't want told. A story of spending faster than earning. Of borrowing instead of adjusting. Of clinging to appearances while the foundation weakens. Even Cody admitted something that sealed it. When asked about influence, he didn't push back. He didn't deny it. He acknowledged that Robyn's voice carries weight. That decisions weren't made in isolation. That the direction of this family followed her lead. Which means this mansion isn't just a shared mistake. It's a reflection of priorities. And now, With payments looming and no one left to cushion the fall, the pressure is building. Because luxury without sustainability always collapses. Slowly at first, then all at once. In the final part, we're going to talk about what happens next. The kids caught in the middle. The income that doesn't stretch far enough. And why this level of debt almost guarantees that the story doesn't end quietly,